Jeff Preston Bezos. He's the founder, executive chairman, and former president and CEO of Amazon, with a net worth of $146 billion, making him the second wealthiest person in the world. He's also the founder of Blue Origin, which he founded in the year 2000, and he was the first centibillionaire on the Forbes Wealth Index. Also, on July 20th of 2021, he flew to space alongside his brother, Mark. Now, here's the cool thing. The way that Jeff Bezos makes decisions at all of these companies, some of the highest level decisions that an individual could possibly face, other than maybe being like a world leader, well, there are frameworks that he uses that we can apply on our journey of not drinking alcohol. And I'm going to break those down for you in this video today. I think this stuff is going to be completely original. I think it's going to be super helpful for so many of you guys. So please do stick around. And just before we actually get into the video, if you want my personal help stopping drinking and you want to join the Sober Clear coaching program, where we really use first principles thinking to reframe how you view alcohol, and then we really focus on the future, improving health, relationships, business, and we use coaching and have a community of other people to do this with, then click the link in the description and you can actually book a call with me. You and I will jump on a call and we'll really see if this program and this method and the way that we do things could be a good match at helping you get your drinking under control. So if you want to book a call, please do click the link in the description. And now back to the video. So the very first thing that we can use is something called the regret minimization framework. Now, I will leave you to a link to all the articles that I've used to make this video, because I did do quite a bit of reading and research before making this video. So for each of the 4 points that I'll make in the video, there'll be a link in the description. But when Jeff Bezos first had the idea of Amazon and, selling books on the internet, he had like a normal job. And he told his boss, I've got this idea. And the boss was like, well, sounds great and whatever, but you really need to think about it. And Jeff Bezos needed a framework. He needed something to make a decision of whether or not he should pursue this idea. And he used this thing called the regret minimization framework. What he asked himself is, would I regret not doing this at 80 years of age, right? If I'm 80 years of age and I look back at my life and I don't do this, am I going to regret it, regardless of whether I fail or not? And the answer that he came up with was yes, I would regret it. I want to get involved in this thing called the internet. It's just coming up at the time. And he decided to go for it. Now, let's just take a step back. What an awesome way to make a decision, right? Would I regret not doing this at 80 years of age? We have a finite amount of time on this earth. And we, hopefully, will get to 80 years of age, right? And we will look back at our life. And I did this when I stopped drinking, right? I didn't know, this is kind of like, I'm just reflecting now that I'm making the video, right? But what I did is, I've always said to myself, I don't want to get to 80 years of age, look back at my life and go, damn, I just wasted it. I could have done so much more. I could have been so much more. I could have created so much more in the world. But instead, I had this existence where I just drank too much. And that fills me with fear. The same way that it seems to have made Jeff Bezos get filled with fear, right? The fear of regret. So take a second now. And I want you to imagine that you're 80, right? Maybe you're 80, 90 years of age. You're coming to the last few months of your life and you're reflecting on your life, right? Would you regret having spent from now until 80, 90 years of age, 100 years of age, would you regret drinking that entire time? Well, the answer to me is 100% yes. I would regret it so much. I would feel so defeated. Now, the other way to ask the question is, would I regret doing something about it? Would I regret, getting this problem under control, finding help, really studying and solving this problem? Would I regret putting the work in, putting the time in to understanding this issue and solving it? Whether that means going to AA, getting a therapist, working with a coach, whatever it is for you, would you regret doing that? And the answer, of course, is no. And even if it takes you a few years to solve the problem, right? Even if you don't get it first time, it takes you, I tried to stop so many times until things finally clicked, but I didn't give up trying. So ask yourself, will you regret continuing to drink? And then again, ask yourself, would you regret trying to stop? Now, the second thing Bezos can teach us about stopping drinking alcohol is using long-term thinking. So there's something that's on my reading list, and it's Jeff Bezos' letters to shareholders. I think that's the name. And what you can do is you can go back for like many, many years, and Jeff Bezos would write these letters to his shareholders where he talk about, the future of the company. And a reoccurring theme in these letters is talking about long-term thinking. Right, this guy is thinking long term. And there's like a few key examples of things that he did. So the first thing that Jeff Bezos did that was, long term thinking was dramatically lowering the prices of the books on the store. What he really did was he sacrificed this short term profit for long-term customer loyalty. Maybe for some of you guys, that's just like extremely competitive and he's just trying to kill off his competitors. But actually, it was the customer that benefited the most from that. The customer got the best price. So, it was sacrificing that short-term profit to get that loyalty. Another thing that he did is he empowered his customers to leave reviews, even negative reviews. So this again, if you've got a product that's got a load of negative reviews, people aren't going to continue buying it. And that again, it was that sacrifice of that short-term profit, right? If he just kind of like hid the reviews or maybe did it like where they were all like only good reviews or something like that, people would have bought the product more, but it wasn't good for the customer. So again, it was that short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. Then in the year 2000, Amazon allowed third-party competitors to compete with the product offerings on the same page. So again, they were sacrificing that short-term profit. And according to this article, in 2020, Amazon's third-party marketplace accounted for roughly 60% of its total gross merchandise value, up from 6% in 2000. So how does this relate to stopping drinking alcohol? Well, Jeff Bezos is clearly invested in sacrificing short-term for long-term gains. And that might mean on your journey of not drinking alcohol that you need to spend some time getting help, right? You might need to spend some time reading some books, right? Watching these videos. There might be a few months where you just have to dive in and figure things out. And it's that short-term sacrifice, where you might have to sacrifice some time on your business, right? You might have to sacrifice time that you could be working on your career, time that you could be training in a gym, whatever it is, right? You might need to sacrifice some time to figuring out this problem in exchange for that long-term success, right? Another way that we can use long-term thinking is very similar to the regret minimization framework, right? We can think long-term of like where we're going to end up if we continue on the trajectory that we're on, right? If we continue to drink alcohol the way that we're doing, what's going to happen 5 years from now? What's going to happen 10 years from now? Are we even going to be alive 20 years from now? That's the kind of questions that we got to ask ourselves. But at the same time, if you think long term, if I solve this problem in the next few months, where's my life going to be a year from now? Where's it going to be 5 years from now? How much better will things be 10 years from now, etc.? Again, super useful way to think. The third thing that Bezos has been known to do is use his heart before his head. What Bezos says is that all of my best decisions in business and in life have been made with heart, intuition, guts, not analysis. If you can make a decision with analysis, you should do so. But it turns out in life that your most important decisions are always made with instinct and tuition. So back when I was drinking alcohol, I knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong. I knew that I was poisoning myself. I knew that I was destroying my confidence. I knew I was destroying my health. And I knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong. I just knew it, right? And I've done this before where I've worked with people in the Sober Killer program. They'll kind of go through the process, the reframing process. They'll get to the other side of it and they're like, Leon, I knew this all along. Like, I always knew this, but nobody explained it to me the way that you've explained it before. I always knew in my heart that what I was doing was wrong. And this is so powerful, right? If you know in your heart that what you were doing is wrong, don't ignore that feeling. If your gut is saying that I shouldn't be doing this, I shouldn't be drinking that alcohol, that is a sign. And if your heart is saying, I need to get this problem under control, I need to get help, I need to do something about it, follow your heart. Maybe you watch one of my videos and your gut is like, I need to work with this guy. Just do it. Just book the call. Maybe I know I'm not for everybody, right? There's many coaches out there. There's many other people that do similar work to me. Maybe your heart is going with one of those people. I would say follow that intuition, right? Follow your heart. Don't ignore the feeling of wanting to do something about this because it's a good feeling. It's a good emotion to have. And the fourth and final thing that Bezos used is something called first principles thinking. Now, obviously, I've spoken about Elon Musk and how he applies first principles thinking, but Jeff Bezos also uses this as well. Again, I'll link to the article in the description, but in one of Bezos' letters to shareholders, he talks about using something called proxies, which is using things like procedures and surveys to make decisions. And what people end up doing is they end up following these proxies rather than thinking about what they're actually doing. What he thinks people should do is go out and discover fundamental truths, which is using first principles thinking, right? It's not reasoning from analogy. It's not doing the common sense thing of like calling yourself an alcoholic, using willpower, going to rehab, going to therapy. This is all reasoning from analogy. This is doing what everybody else thinks that we should do. And what Bezos is saying is to uncover these fundamental truths, is to think for ourselves. And the best way to do that is through breaking things down from first principles. Now, if you want a video training showing you how to do that, then please do click the link in the description. Hope this video was helpful. Have a great day.